If I could have everybody's attention here in the Media Center, it's my pleasure to start us off this weekend in Kansas Speedway with Rico Abreu, driver of the number 98 Safe Light Toyota Tundra for Thor Sport Racing. Rico, a candidate for the Sunoco Rookie of the Year award. Talk about your thoughts coming into Kansas and what you're kind of expecting throughout this whole weekend.
Yeah, so Kansas is one of the tracks obviously I've never been to. Got some Toyota sim time last week there, so that's about as as much on-track activity as I've had leading up to practice today. So I'm looking forward to it. Feel like we're gonna have a fast truck. It's the same truck we ran at Atlanta, and we worked all the bugs out of it there. And seems like I keep positioning myself better and better each race. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend.
Good deal. We'll open the floor up for questions. If you have a question for Rico, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you.
You say you were Rookie of the Year?
Correct.
He's what? He's a candidate. Oh, candidate. Okay, that's okay. Get that straight. What do you think? How'd you land there? What would you say has been your strength in helping you be a candidate for the Rookie of the Year?
Well, it's my first season racing in the truck series, so I was a candidate last year in the Can-Am E Series, and I'll be a candidate this year. So, and I feel like this is probably the stoutest rookie candidates, this year with Christopher Bell, William Bowyer, and myself, Ben Rhodes. There's a lot of great drivers competing for, that spot. So it's, but that's not really what we're worried about. I'm here to win races for Thor Sport Racing and Safe Flight Autoglass. So that's more of my focus and what I'm looking forward to.
Good deal. We'll go to Bob and then to Randy.
Bob Parker, ESPN. Have you been able to do any of the tests that have been going on as far as since you're a rookie, and just what's it been like not racing very much when you've been so used to racing a lot?
Well, I filled my off weekends in with some sprint car races, so I'm still racing quite a bit, but we've tested at Sandusky Speedway right before Martinsville, and we have a couple more tests scheduled later on in the year.
Go to Randy and then back to Kenny.
Hey, Rico. Randy Kovitz, Kansas City Star. Talked to you last week. I know you're a rookie, but this is the first year that they've had the chase in the truck series. So you're talking about winning. A win would put you in the chase. Just how do the drivers view having a chase in the truck series like they've had in Sprint Cup?
Well, obviously everyone's different. So some drivers like it, some drivers don't. But I think it's great, and it gives a chance for a rookie to compete in the championship and to compete in the Final Four at Homestead. So hopefully we can put ourselves in that position, and I think if we can win a race and get to that final round, it definitely Homestead fits more of my driving style, just with how different the grooves are and how high you can run up on the track. So I'm looking forward to those races. Majority of the mile-and-a-half tracks where you can move around quite a bit and actually race.
Who doesn't like it? Why would a driver not like a chase?
Well, you can get eliminated after the first round. You can win, 10 races before leading up to the final round and being eliminated in the final round. So with 3 bad races. So, that's just how things fall sometimes.
Go next to Kenny Bruce and then over to Kyle and then up to Scott.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Rico, you mentioned sim time. Can you kind of describe what that's like, how much actual time you get, and what that sensation's like compared to what it's really, how it relates to what you actually do out on the track?
Yeah, I think more so, getting on a simulator and iRacing as well, as much as I can, and just, learning these tracks that we get to. I know iRacing is really good at what they've created and getting to all these tracks and every little bump and detail, with people in the grandstands to, the bumps getting into turn 1 at Iowa. So it's pretty realistic for me. I don't get too picky and pick all these simulators apart. So I just am thankful to get the opportunity to race on them and learn the tracks before we get there. I got to run, this week Kansas is the series on iRacing, so the 3 national series are there on iRacing, and so I got to run some truck races. They actually compete every hour, and I've ran a few truck races on iRacing, and then Toyota also has a simulator where you just run laps and can work on your setups, which we feel like we have a good setup for this weekend.
Go to Kyle, then to Scott, and then to Chris Knight, and then back to Jerry.
Kyle Pukowski, thefourthturn.com. Rico, you're 5 starts into your truck career. What's been the biggest learning curve for you in getting used to these new trucks?
Definitely the race lengths. Going from a sprint car race at 30 laps to a 250 lap 2-hour race at Martinsville. So that's been the biggest jump for me, and staying focused throughout the whole race, and then live pit stops as well. So we've had, we have about 3 to 4 stops a race, and I feel like that's where you make a majority of your ground up on pit stops and restarts at these truck races.
Scott Trailer, RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network, Sports Radio 810 WHP. Rico, since back-to-back Chili Bowl wins, I want to talk a little dirt racing. I hope these guys don't mind a little bit. But do you feel like that you represent just not only open wheel, but dirt track racers? The response of your second win down at the Chili Bowl, I've been going there forever. I've never seen anything like it. The fans they gravitate towards you. Do you feel like you are a major representative for the people that you grew up racing around these little racetracks and sprint car people and dirt track fans?
Yeah, definitely, Scott. And I think it's great to have fans, in the dirt world, come follow, truck racing or Xfinity racing. Now that kind of Kyle has come through and moved really quickly through the sport of open wheel racing to the Cup Series, and now I feel like open wheel fans have somebody to watch in the Cup Series. If they weren't a fan of NASCAR, and then and maybe a NASCAR fan will show up to a sprint car race. I know they're racing at Lakeside Speedway tonight, and with the ASCS Tour. So I think that us drivers jumping back and forth from a stock car to a dirt sprint car helps those fans with that transition of becoming an open wheel fan or a stock car fan. Yeah, definitely. I got a big support group behind me, and that just helps your confidence level. And knowing that you got a lot of friends behind you wanting to see you do good.
Go to Chris, and then to Jerry.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Rico, you spent some time this week with Safe Light Auto Glass at their headquarters, I believe, this week. What was that experience like, and how are they rallying behind you?
I got to spend some time a couple days ago in Columbus, Ohio, at Safe Light's corporate. They got 2 different buildings. One that does all the glass, where all the techs work, and then one building where all their media and answering their phone calls. And it was huge. It was a huge eye opener for me, just because I've never been around a corporate company like Safe Light, and it's just to see how they change people's windshields. And the biggest thing that caught my eye was how happy everybody was. From the guy driving, showing up at 6 a.m. to start his deliveries with his window changes with the glass, and then to people just answering the phones for someone who wants their chipped window fixed. Everyone, there's just so much energy in their offices and their buildings, and that's what people like to do. And then if you love your job, that's why people are happy. So it's really cool to see that, and how well they take care of their employees. So I'm looking forward to go back in a few weeks and just hang out again.
Jerry?
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network and Kicking the Tires. You guys have had a few weeks off in the truck series, and then you're going into, I guess, 3 in a row. How long does it take you to get your stride after being off a few weeks like that? And is that good or bad to have those breaks?
I think they're getting ready to get going here these next few months. So I think it's fine. It spreads everything out. I know it gives the guys some time to rebuild some trucks or build new trucks for Dover and Charlotte. So I wasn't too on the down low just with my sprint car racing on the off weekends. So I stayed busy either at Millbridge Speedway with the go-karts on Wednesday nights or a sprint car race on Friday and Saturday night. Yeah, I was pretty active. Last weekend I flew back to California and raced at the Dave Bradway Memorial King of the West race in Chico, California, and then Sunday I was on another flight back here back to Charlotte, and got some simulator time at Toyota, and then headed here to Kansas.
Yeah, well, Rico, I know you have a meeting you need to get to. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us and starting the weekend off right here at Kansas.
Thank you, guys.
If I could have everybody's attention here in the media center, it's an honor now to introduce driver of the number 15 5-Hour Energy Chevrolet, Clint Bowyer, the pride of Emporia, Kansas, coming back home this weekend. What are your thoughts coming into to this race weekend at Kansas, both in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series?
Yeah, it's always fun to have something new, on your plate and something I haven't done before in a while. So looking forward to running the truck race here at home in Kansas. I think we had, a pretty good run last time we were here in it, back in the old Harvick days. And this GMS Motorsports, what a team. I was up there at the shop, fitting the seat in the truck and looking at the facility and met Spencer and Joey, the crew chief. Very, very impressed. Built me a brand new truck. That thing is awesome. The work is there, and hopefully the driver fill in the seat and get the job done, and we can win this baby. It's what we're here for. But from there, it's the Cup race on Sunday, and I tell you, I just tweeted. I was thinking, I was like, damn, I'm going to need a lot of 5-Hour Energy this weekend. It's the Truck Series, the Cup Series, and then my brother just enlightened me on how many people that bought new vehicles down at Clint Bowyer Autoplex and get a free ride along on Sunday. So Mom's going to have to hang with us at the track for about 7 hours of work, he said.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
I think 40-some. That's awesome. It's very awesome, actually, for business. It sucks for me personally. That's a lot of ride-alongs.
Good
I'm
deal.
gonna need a masseuse afterwards.
Well, I can't help you out in that department, but these guys can certainly ask you some more questions. We'll start with Randy, and we'll work our way around the room.
Hey, Clint. Randy Kovitz, Kansas City Star. You're the only Cup regular going to be in the trucks race, to my knowledge, on tomorrow night. They got a chase now in the trucks.
Mm-hmm.
They have a chase now
Yeah.
in the trucks. What advice do you give to the trucks only drivers, and is this good for their series?
I just think it's good for the sport in general, no matter what division it is. I think the chase has brought a lot to the table over the years in the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series. I've been following that, and this Truck Series is going to be fun. You can also, do a good job, take care of points, take care of your equipment, and not make mistakes. And at the end of the day, take care of business and race your way into that chase and race for a championship. So there's a lot of different ways. Ultimately, fast trucks, fast drivers, fast teams will be in that chase anyway. And it's really never came down to a bogus deal yet, a fuel mileage win or a rain out or something like that. So, I think it's great for the Truck Series, and looking forward to watching that chase on in, to the last part of the year.
You think it'll put a little more shine on those two series?
Oh, yeah.
They get lost at the end of the season with the Cup?
I don't think, they get lost by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that, the Cup Series had that to benefit from, and they didn't, I believe that, now that they have that, I think it's just going to be that much more competitive and more compelling to watch.
Okay, we'll go up next to Bob.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. You tend to show your emotions fairly liberally on the
Easily.
radio during races and stuff, and obviously being a frustrating year. Have you had to mend fences with your crew very much, especially in the sense of, everybody knows that you're only there for 1 year?
I think, everybody knows me. I mean, whether I'm frustrated or happy or whatever, that ventilation, whether it's a celebratory ventilation or a pissed off moment, happens. The wick's pretty short. It burns out about 5 minutes, and the next thing next thing out of my mouth is, all right, now what are we going to do to fix it? I don't ever care about yesterday or what happened in a practice or a race or even yesterday. It's this sport is all about what you're going to do tomorrow, and that's what you have to instill in yourself and everybody around you to be able to go out there and get the job done and compete at the level that I know we're capable of competing at for our sponsors and for ourselves.
Okay, we're going to go to Jerry, to Nick, to the young lady in the back, and then up the tide.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network, Kicking the Tires. A few weeks ago, you talked exactly about that before Texas, and you of that passion and with your team. Are you satisfied in the direction that you guys are going, and are you seeing some improvement? Even though, as we know, you're not happy in the car sometimes, but are you getting to that point where everything's gelling?
Well, I think 2 of the last 3 weekends have been top 10s. I was struggling to get that kind of consistency where I was last year. So it's beginning to start rolling. I mean, it's important to work hard, to continue to improve. We've got some good things coming that I'm excited about. That's the thing is when you're down, most of the time there's a reason. Especially when you're down as far as we're down. We had work to do. We're starting to get some new wave of cars built and get some things to where we all are satisfied with them and excited about bringing them to the racetrack and seeing what our hard work has done. That's all you can do. That's all you can ask for out of any team member, any organization, or a driver. You know what I mean? Everybody's got to be able to pull on a rope in the same direction and give it their all. And when you finally get to that moment where you do that, you're satisfied.
Nick Bromberg, Yahoo Sports. What is the biggest thing you've learned so far through the first 10 races?
As far as nothing. I've been doing this for 10 years. There's nothing that surprises you, in this sport. I mean, it's the same old song and dance. When you're running good, it's easy. When you're running bad, it's the hardest thing you ever done in your life. I don't care what organization you're at or how much depth you have or anything else. It's that simple. I've been with the biggest teams there is, and have, obviously been with a younger team and a smaller team. This is hard. This is a hard business, and it's very competitive. And if you're good, you better work hard to stay good, or you're not going to be there long. If you're bad, you got to work hard to get caught up.
But I guess in terms of expectations heading in now, and then
I think, like I said, look at the last 3 weekends. Expectations are we got to stay on that path. That's the path that I expect to be on, and I feel like you guys expect me to be on.
Pat Holloway. I work for WDF in town. What's it like coming back to this track, and what goes through your mind?
It's different every time. It's always busy. It's always home. There's family and friends, people calling, wanting to see you, and you want to see them. You need to make time for them, and running this truck race is something I've been looking forward to. I've been wanting to shake things up. Everybody knows I'm a racer. I've always been willing and ready and excited for a challenge in any kind of race car through the years. And the truck series has always been a lot of fun for me. The vehicles are a blast to drive. The Xfinities, I just found out that we announced the Junior Motorsports deal, the Xfinity race in Chicago coming up. So there's a lot of good news. That's what keeps you pumped up and excited about the remainder of the year. Just found out that they're taking an off weekend from us. That doesn't make you very excited. But coming back home, to answer your question, it's just always special. We woke up, it's a little different with a 19-month-old. He woke up at 5 o'clock this morning, so we got up, got the stroller out from underneath the bus and walked over, waited on Nebraska Furniture Mart, looked around, and then walked over to the mall and bought a couple PJs for him, a couple shirts, and walked may have stopped back by Arthur Bryant's on the way back over here and got in some good barbecue. It's what home's all about. I'm not hungry right now, but as soon as this Arthur Bryant's burns through me, I'm going to be back focused on that Cup win, and I can't wait to to get that done. There's just some racetracks, and it's always home for anybody that it's on your, it's every week you look, or every thought you have of your career, it's always that track that you want to win at before it's all said and done, and this is it.
Okay, we'll go here to Todd, then to Michael, then to Jason, and then to Chris, and then back up and finish with Bob.
Hey, Clint, Todd Palmer, Kansas City Star. With 07 to 2013, you were top 10 5 of 7 years, in the point standings, but haven't been able to carry that through the last few years. Do you feel like your championship window is closing, or are you kind of looking toward next year and still think you've got some good years in you?
No, we was one of the best teams there was for 7 years. Was a really good team for a few years, and he decided to quit on me. So, we're building back up, and I know I'm going to a championship caliber team, for 3 years after this one. You'll see me back. By no means do I consider myself. I feel like you get the race cars underneath of you, and you compete exactly where you've always competed. The history's there. The consistency's always been, part of my racing, and that lends itself to racing for championships and being competitive at the end of the year. So, we've got to. You got to get to where you can compete for those championships, no matter what organization you're at, and you're a big part of that. Whether it's in the race car or not.
Welcome home, Clint. Michael
Thanks, buddy.
Coleman, KCTV5. Earlier you mentioned your mother. First of all, after those ride-alongs, how will you help her spend Mother's Day, and talk about the influence she's had on you, perhaps, into you getting into racing?
Well, hopefully she can bring her sweating son another water bottle every now and then. It's just our lives have been racing. Since we were old enough to remember, we were racing as a family in a motorhome, traveling all across the country, racing motorcycles. Myself, my two brothers, they ran a towing business together, and she made sure that the bills were paid. Food was in the pantry, and clothes were clean. She was there to do whatever job she needed to do, and then that's what all good moms do. Take care of business. What's that? Well, that's what I'm afraid we're going to be working, Mom. It's a special day. It's kind of changed over the years. There's always been a few years we were down in Darlington, and it was a lot of fun down there. It's just a special day. I think we're going to be staying in Emporia and doing some media stuff on Monday, so we'll be able to celebrate a little bit Sunday night.
Jason?
Hey, Clint. Jason from Box 4.
Hey, man.
Following up on Michael there, what do you think your mom is most proud of? You're a new father. You're in the top of your profession here. You've done so much for your community. What do you think she's most proud of? Grandbabies.
If you see her with the grandkids, she spends most of the time in North Carolina anymore because she won't turn loose of them. But no, she's proud of all of her boys. Is just when you think of her, you think of your brothers. Because she's the one that took care of us all. And I was just watching my brother Casey. We were in a business meeting this week together, and Andy, I was watching do the Last Elephant show. He was the broadcaster on the Last Elephant show of all things in the world. It's just weird to think of a small family, come from a small town in Kansas, and all the different things we've been able to do, and most of that is because of this sport of auto racing.
Chris, and then Bob.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Clint, last time you were in a truck, you won with Kevin Harvick, so that was pretty.
That's not true. I actually filled in for John West Townley and Pocono.
Well, last time you were in a truck at Kansas, you won.
Last
time you were in a truck at Kansas, you won, though.
That is true.
Yeah, last time you were in a truck at Kansas, you won.
Now you're correct.
Yeah, last time you were in a truck at Kansas, you won. How long did it take to put this deal together with GMS and also for the Xfinity Series? When did you know you were going to drive for JRM?
It was a phone call and about a 0.2 of a delayed reaction of a yes. I mean, it doesn't take long to put those deals together. Yeah, you know, they called and asked, and you know, obviously you've got to ask Harry Scott if it's okay. And as soon as that was all said and done, you know, heck yeah, I'd love to run this thing. I told him, if that seat's, you know, empty and you need a driver, I'll be your guy the rest of the year or however much you need. I mean, I like racing. I miss racing an Xfinity Series full time or racing trucks here and there. It's fun. You know, these weekends, for whatever reason, you know, and in my opinion, some of its tech procedures and things like that are slow. They just feel slow for us. And you know, if I was racing, you know, in a truck series, the Xfinity Series or something like that, I think it would, you know, help keep somebody that likes action and likes being on the go a little more occupied.
Bob?
Bob Pockers, ESPN. You're 27th in points, 2 top 10s. Where would you want to be at the end of the year that would make you say, okay, this was a decent year?
Oh, you know, I think that, you know, I felt like being able to compete in and around that top 15 to top 20 land consistently is going to put Harry in a position that he can be appealing, you know, to sponsors, to drivers, and things like that. It's pretty hard to set goals, you know, to winning races and things like that, because let's face it, you know, you got to crawl before you can walk in life, and you know, I feel like he realizes that, and you've got to create some goals to where you can get to where you want to be, and that isn't just a year's time, no matter, you know, what the situation is. A lot of times, if it is, it's hard to, you know, maintain that and keep that when you see teams come in and spend gobs of money and have the success, they can't hold on to it. So, you know, his approach to all this of you know, easing into it and earning his way is the right way. You know, we've just we've got work to do to get it to where I feel like it needs to be by the end of the year.
Well, Clint, we appreciate you coming in, and good luck burning off all that Arthur Bryant's this weekend.
I need to go jogging. To the bathroom.
If I can have your attention here in the media center, we are now joined by John Hunter Nemechek, driver of the number 8 Chevrolet Silverado in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. John Hunter already clinched his way into the chase in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. But let's talk about that a little bit later. 2004, your father comes in here and sweeps the weekend. What do you remember about that weekend here at Kansas Speedway?
I remembered I went to Victory Lane twice that weekend. Both times that he had won the race, I was on the playground playing. I do remember that. So Mom came and got me and my sister at the time and came out and told us that we had to go to Victory Lane. I remember standing outside the gate waiting for them to spray all the beer and stuff all over Dad, and then we were able to go in and see him.
Good deal. Well, let's open up the floor to questions here. We'll start with Randy and work our way around.
Hey, John, Randy Kovitz, Kansas City Star. I'm glad you're old enough now to race here, huh? Matt mentioned the chase. What's that mean to already be locked in, and how does that affect, you know, the way you go about the rest of the season?
It means a lot to us as a team. It shows what we can do as a smaller team with not as much of a budget as some of these other teams have. It just shows that we focus on what's important in our trucks. We build really good trucks every time that we come to the racetrack, and we utilize our resources to the absolute max that we can. I mean, when we come to the track, we know that we can run up front and be prepared to win races. It's just a matter of how many we can win. I'd have to say that there may be a little bit more of a gambling situation come in for us from whatever it may be, new setups or different things to try, different ways to just try and make our whole organization better. I mean, to lock in the chase, it gives you the ability to try different things and not have to worry about having to win still to lock ourselves in.
Go to Kyle next.
Kyle Bukrevsky, thefourthturn.com. John Hunter, after the win at Atlanta and the runner-up finish at Martinsville, what's the sponsorship picture looking like for your team now?
Well, we have Andy's Frozen Custard on board this weekend, so can't thank them enough for them coming on board. It's a race deal for here. We're still trying to find more partners for the races coming up. We don't have really anything done as of yet. Hopefully we'll have some more news coming out. Right now it's just race by race deal.
Jerry?
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network and Kicking the Tires. I want to elaborate a little bit on that. You're qualified for the chase. And what is it? Why can't there be sponsors? I mean, I would think any sponsor would want to be on a guy who's guaranteed all of that publicity. Is there some disconnect that you're noticing, or where are y'all looking at?
It's hard to find sponsors right now. Most of the sponsors are either on Cup teams or Xfinity teams. I mean, it's hard to sell sponsorship in the Truck Series right now. If you ask me, it's some of the best racing out there as of right now. Very competitive. Everyone runs really close together. It's just trying to get deals done. I mean, you can have all the talk in the world about trying to get something done, but until that deal gets done, you get a handshake and a signature on a piece of paper. It's very hard to get to that point.
Mile-and-a-half racetracks. You have good success. Your first win, Chicagoland Speedway, mile-and-a-half, Atlanta Motor Speedway this year, mile-and-a-half. What are you expecting that may be a little bit different about this mile-and-a-half racetrack?
It's going to be the same concept as Chicago and Atlanta. I mean, you're going to run pretty much wide open in the truck here. It's just trying to get your truck set up the best you can to run as wide open as long as you can. And whoever can figure out how to run wide open for a full fuel run and have their truck to where it's fast, they're going to win the race.
Todd?
Hey, John Hunter, Todd Palmer, Kansas City Star. First of all, I'm sure that your ultimate goal is to one day drive in the Truck Series, or the Cup Series, stuff like that. What, the last few years running some in trucks, what lessons have you learned? Maybe what surprised you, and what's the best advice your dad's given you about competing at this level?
I wouldn't say there's one in particular piece of advice that he's given me that's been more outstanding than the other. He's full of knowledge. He's given me a lot of advice on how to act. Growing up in the sport, you see all the different perspectives of the sport, from dad owning a team, for him driving for someone else, from him being in the shop working on his own stuff. So you learn a bunch of different traits as you grow up through the sport. So his advice is just to work hard, never give up, and it's always going to play out.
Any more questions for John Hunter Nemechek?
What have you learned on the Truck Series these first few
Learning in the Truck Series, it's been not as steep as a learning curve as I'd say it would have been. Coming from a super late model, I've learned a lot, from patience to how to drive these things, from figuring out the setup side of them. I mean, at mile-and-a-halfs, aerodynamics is everything here. From how to pass people to when you're going to get loose, when you're going to get tight around people, how to set them up, adjust from day to night races. There's a lot that you can learn.
Go back to Jerry.
Follow-up, Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network, Kicking the Tires. Are we in jeopardy? I mean, and I'll go back to the sponsorship. Are we in jeopardy of seeing Nemco struggling and possibly losing one of the best young drivers out there because of lack of sponsorship?
Normally we don't think about that, but we're doing everything we can to get by right now, to come to the racetrack, to be competitive week in, week out. We're going to do everything the right way. I'm sure that you're going to see us at every race this year and try and go for the championship. But as you said, sponsorship is hard to come by right now. But we have some great partners that are helping us get through these tough times. So hopefully we can get some more of them in and hopefully have a truck all decaled.
Well, John Hunter, good luck this weekend, and maybe we'll see you again in Victory Lane.
Sounds good. Thank you.